Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84. So I thought I'd do a full progress report and update on my pineapple guavas today, as we're right at the very end of September, so it's a good time to do an update on them because it's about a month before they theoretically start to ripen here, although that's going to be very weather related, but I thought it'd be interesting to do a comparison between the ones in the grounds and the ones in the pots, and I know there's a lot of people extremely interested in how we get on with the pineapple guavas here. So I thought I'd start with the mammoths. It's quite interesting to see the difference in variation between size and shape on them, and of course depending on when the flowers actually set, and how some of the fruits clearly will be edible and should be a decent size, and others probably won't reach an edible size at all. So as I said, this particular one is in my in-ground mammoth, the one I've had the longest. I think it's 6th season now, and it's been quite a good year for fruit set at the moment. We've got some quite respectable sized fruits on it for the end of September. These should really grow for another 3 or 4 weeks, so I'm hopeful that if the weather's favourable we're going to get some quite large fruits on there. May even get close to my record size, which is what would be nice to reach this year. Now we've had torrential rain for the last week or so, although it's dry when I'm filming this. One advantage of having adequate hydration is it does encourage the fruits to grow a decent amount. There's quite a variety of shapes and sizes on this. You can see that one's very round, and some of the others are the typical, what I consider mammoth elongated shape, and and it's got bunches of 1s, 2s and 3s in a lot of cases. There are fruits at the back of the plant as well, although I won't reach over to show them. But interestingly, there's also quite a lot of very small fruits that will not get to an edible stage probably. Even this little one down here, it seems highly unlikely to me, although it probably set very late, probably set at the end of August, and it seems unlikely to me that would get to an edible size. This one might well be okay. It's not got a lot of fruits on it. I suppose there's probably a dozen to 15, and some of them, as I said, like this size again, may not get to a decent edible size, but if it's as large as an egg it'll be edible. This one looks okay, this one there will probably be okay, but what I'm looking at is the ones nearer the top are more likely to get to a decent edible size. I guess they're in the full sun and the full light, so but we're certainly going to get some edible mammoth fruits this year. It's just a question of what August is going to be like, as to see what size most of them get to. Certainly be doing some tastings on them. So that is the mammoth, and we'll move on to the next one. Moving on to the next one is my seedling plant, which is next to the mammoth, which I really just use for cross-pollination. It's interesting to see how feeble this one is compared to the mammoth. This has been flowering. This was flowering as long the mammoth. In fact, it started flowering before the mammoth, and yet the fruits by the end of September, most of them are about as big as hazelnuts. This just doesn't have the genetics to grow large edible fruits. About the largest size I've had of these is about the size of a large walnut, not even golf ball sized, and when you cut them open the flesh is hard and not appetizing, and it discolours almost immediately and oxidizes. So for whatever reason this plant's got very poor genetics. It's fine for cross-pollination, but I do keep saying that I should really consider getting it out of the border because I could put one of the name varieties in there that's in pots that isn't doing very well, because I've got several which I'm going to show you in a minute. We'll move on to the next plant, which is the Triumph. Now this one's not doing too badly. These, if I recall, tend to ripen slightly earlier than the Mammoth. It's got some quite decent sized fruits on it. Again, these are probably about 2 inches long, about 5 centimetres, some of them, at the end of September. Again, the plant has got quite a lot of smaller fruits on it. It's got quite a lot of fruits down here of varying sizes, but I fully expect most of these to get to an edible size by the end of October. Even down the back here, it's got a few where it's set fruits around the back. Of course, they're not exposed to the sun as much, but I still think that some of those will be edible as well. But I did cut it back quite a lot this year, which will have possibly stopped its fruit production. But on the whole, obviously some of these won't be worth eating, but there should be a good number of Triumph fruits to compare with this year. You can see a little bit of damage there, probably caused by birds pecking at it. That's the Triumph. Now the one that I'm pleased with how it's going this year, if I walk over here, is the Gemini, which I featured in a standalone video. This has got a couple of very decent sized fruits on it. Traditionally I thought Gemini was more of a cigar shaped fruit, but these appear to be very, very oval. Whether or not I should bag them to protect them from bird pecks, I'm not sure. It has got another number of other fruits on it I think will get to be an edible size. These ones here are looking quite respectable. Even ones like this may be edible. It won't reach the size, I don't think, of the fruits on the plant, but nevertheless it has got a number of edible fruits on it, and surprisingly this is what they can do. Hold on a second. Yeah, sorry for that, got interrupted. The neighbour was just asking me something, didn't know I was making a video. So that's the Gemini. Going to have at least 2 decent fruits. I think I'll bag them. And those are the in-ground ones. Now if you compare, when I look at my, we have a look at the situation with the, which I discussed the other day, the problem with the pot growing plants is these are in quite substantial containers, probably 30 litres, but what I'm finding is, although they flowered and have set fruits, the fruits are not edible. These plants have either got to go into much bigger containers, or they've got to go in ground, which of course is a problem. I mean, look, this is as large as the fruits have got. Now this one here, let me have a look. This one is, if I can find it, get down to the label, this is Coolidge, and those fruits are dreadful. And I think the one behind, which is Apollo, which is meant to produce larger fruits, and it hasn't got any on it at all as far as I'm aware. Almost next to this I've got a Marion, which again, I'm not sure it's got any fruits on it at all. Look at it, pitiful, tiny. That's a Marion fruit. That's a Marion fruit, and we're talking about the end of September. Compare those to the size of my Mammoth and Triumph and the Gemini. And if I walk round the back here, I've got 2 more main varieties, which are, I think, Nikita and whatever the other one is. I think we've got Nikita, let me have a look. Nikita and, must be Unique, that one. I think it's Unique, if I can read that. And the Unique, and that's about the biggest fruit. Most of the other fruits on it are no more than that size. There's some small ones there, and I don't know if any of these are going to be, that one probably will be edible. That is a unique there, but look, it's cigar shaped, shows how they vary. I think I'm going to get a handful of edible fruits off the unique. Might be just about big enough to eat the fruits on the Nikita, but although the plants look healthy and they're getting up to a decent size, they simply are not producing edible fruits in pots. And again, these are both in very substantial 30-litre pots, but they're just not doing any good. So I'm going to have to do something to address the situation, otherwise I'm never going to get decent edible fruits off the other plant. So that's a brief update on my pineapple guavas. Obviously, I said the most successful ones are clearly the Triumph and the Mammoth, well established in ground without any root restriction, and that's the difference at the end of the day on what you're looking at quality wise. Getting decent edible fruits, you need to get them in ground. So thanks for watching the video. So it was a bit interrupted by other things and people. Please give me a thumbs up, share the video, because I know there are people interested in growing these unusual fruits here in the UK. Subscribe to my channel, and if you want to see how these all come out later on at the end of August, you've got to click on the bell so you know when new videos come out. See you all soon. Brett out for now.